Hello, everybody. Just like last night, I'm still sick. Sorry.
Sorry to hear that.
I know I don't mean to turn you guys on, okay? Like, I'm sorry. It comes with the territory, unfortunately. So yeah, what a week.
I know,
What
right?
a week.
I know.
Couple of announcements before I forget. I was supposed to go on Due Dissidence tomorrow at noon. Because of like the chaos this week and the inauguration and everything going on. Keaton called me today and asked if we can do Tuesday. Totally cool. Because he doesn't want, I'm going to be going on to talk about Temujin and my visit to prison last week. And he doesn't want it to be like cut short because of everything going on. And he can give me more time on Tuesday. So we're going to do it then. That will be at 2 p.m. And then I'll be going on Katie Halper at 7 p.m. with a former law enforcement officer, Bill Proctor. And Bill has been fighting for Temujin since he was arrested almost 40 years ago. So Tuesday is gonna be a big day. I'm very excited. Also, on Tuesday, the podcast Inconceivable comes out. The trailer is out. You can view it on any podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. And Inconceivable is Jason Usry. I've been working with him. I was spending time with him out in Michigan when I was there. He saw Temujin in prison before me. He had the appointment, and he's doing what essentially is probably going to be a 30-episode podcast just on Temujin, and that premieres on Tuesday night as well. And I'll be announcing a little bit more of my involvement on that podcast on Tuesday. And I have a huge announcement I will be giving Tuesday as well. So yeah, lots of stuff, but also tomorrow morning they are going to announce the Oscar nominees, and my brother-in-law is rumored to be one of them. Dun dun dun.
Cool.
He's a cinematographer of a film called The Brutalist. The Brutalist won Best Picture, Best Lead Actor, and Best Director at the Golden Globes, and a whole bunch of other awards. And a bunch of magazines say that he's gonna get a nomination. So everybody look for it. Cinematographer, The Brutalist. Lowell Crowley. That's my brother-in-law. So we shall see.
Yep.
But
fingers crossed.
I'm excited. What's that?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, seriously. But anyway, So, yes, lots to talk about. So, tonight, I believe we're going to get into some of Trump's executive orders. That motherfucker didn't waste 2 seconds before he got into office.
I
He
can't
was,
even keep track of all of them. There's too many.
he was doing shit before he even got in. Like the ceasefire Biden had been working around the clock for 15
Right,
months.
right.
Um, yeah, I went over a few of the executive orders last night with Josh. But now we have new ones. Sweet. First, I just wanted to show this clip because I mean it's both funny and sad.
Two types of autism.
That's not autism. That's literally not being happy
You're talking
because
about Barron.
what's that?
You're talking about Barron.
Oh yeah, I mean he looks like absolutely just bored and sad and like why do these people like praise my dad? And you know it's so like he looks so much like him, doesn't he? Like
Yeah.
oh my god, especially from that profile angle. Holy fuck. Ugh. And he's like 8 feet tall. But yeah,
Isn't that
Elon
weird?
is
Yeah, yeah, he is.
he's
I,
like
s-
so fucking tall.
I saw an AI or a
Oh, I
Photoshop
saw that.
video. He was.
He's
Oh,
like
I wish I had
towering
that.
when he walked up the steps.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't. That shit was so fucking funny. Yeah, it's funny. Like sometimes you see kids who are like their mother or their father, but he literally is like a morph of Melania and Trump. Like he like literally looks like both of them. It's so weird.
Crazy how that works.
Isn't that weird? Like almost like they're the parents of him. It's kind of it's weird how that works.
That is weird.
Um but yeah, I mean like honestly, like I feel bad for kids who have been in the White House cuz like they're just like tortured relentlessly. Like I mean, don't get me started on the Clintons. Everybody knows I hate them with every fucking molecule in my body. But when I was like younger, I did feel really bad for Chelsea because people were calling her like the White House dog and stuff. She was a young teenage girl, you know, she didn't fucking
Mhm.
choose that life.
Yep.
So I've always kind of felt a little bad for the kids. Um, and also like you can't like do anything. You can't go out and have fun with your friends or anything, especially not now when everybody has cell phones and shit.
And you're 8 feet
Like,
tall.
and you're 8 feet tall.
No
That how
fucking
do you
way.
even
Yeah.
hide?
I don't know.
That's a good point. So yeah, we'll get to Trump's executive orders. One of the 10,000.
All right. Here we go. Trump says deport non citizens who support terrorism. Trump's executive order allows deportation of foreign Hamas supporters. During his campaign, Trump pledged to pursue the deportation of foreign students participating in campus unrest and anti Israel demonstrations who express solidarity with Hamas and Hezbollah. Now, President Donald Trump has enacted an executive order enabling the deportation of foreign students and other non citizens from the U.S. for expressing support for organizations that the U.S. government has designated as terrorist groups.
But
But
the UN doesn't have Hamas as a terrorist organization. It never has been because it's a government one. I mean, like this is fucking scary. Like this is really fucking scary because it's not even about supporting Hamas. It's the fact that people say everyone who's pro-Palestine is part of Hamas.
Yeah.
Everyone who is out there in the streets is being paid by Hamas. So now every single person who wasn't born in the US, are they even going to come out and protest with us anymore? I can't say I blame them if they don't, but
Right.
that's fucking scary. Like, where is this so-called freedom of speech? Like, where is that bullshit? Like, they can't even come out, and this is the issue. It's not even like, which it doesn't matter what the fuck if they say they support Hamas or not. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is they they accuse us of that regardless. They accuse us of being anti-Semitic regardless. So that puts literally every single person who was not born here at risk, who
Yeah.
comes to even a peaceful, free Palestine. Yeah, you're at risk. That's fucking scary.
That sucks. Yeah. Just reading the article here. United States must ensure that admitted aliens and aliens otherwise already present in the United States do not bear hostile attitudes towards its citizens, culture, government, institutions, or founding principles, and do not advocate for, aid, or support designated foreign terrorists and other threats to our national security. So basically, yeah, supporting Palestine is supporting Hamas, and Hamas is
Absolutely.
terrorists, and that's
Yeah.
basically how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
I saw that coming a mile away. I'm sure you did too.
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely. But it's just like, is he going to condemn the Nazis going down? Because I'm pretty sure Nazis are a condemned hate group, literally, which
Yeah.
Hamas is not. But okay. Wait, Nazis are typically white. Never mind. Forget about that.
Hmm. That could be it. Um, Here's one from Al Jazeera. Why has U.S. President Trump removed sanctions on Israeli settlers? The Israeli far right has celebrated Trump lifting sanctions imposed on some settlers by his predecessor, Joe Biden.
So, like, honestly, when I first saw that title, I was like, wait, we have sanctions on them? Because what? How many fucking videos do we see a day of IDF, like, pissing on Palestinians they kill? And, like, you know, just desecrating their bodies and stuff like that and laughing about what they're doing and dancing on them and
Yeah.
posing in their lingerie and destroying their toys and taking their aid and pouring it on the ground and laughing. Like,
Yeah.
we have sanctions for what? What the fuck has come of that? Fucking
Yeah,
sanctions?
I had to read this headline twice because
Me too.
it felt kind of backwards or something. Like, wait, we had sanctions. I want to read some more. Um, is there any actual information in here? Settler violence has long been a fact of life for Palestinians living within the occupied West Bank, but attacks and the theft of Palestinian land have soared since the beginning of Israel's war on Gaza. Trump's move has been celebrated by Israel's far right, although it came soon after the new president pushed for a ceasefire in Gaza, much to that faction's anger. So, what were the sanctions imposed on the settlers? Under the terms of the sanctions, individuals and entities were blocked from accessing all U.S. property assets as well as the U.S. financial system. What?
Bullshit.
What do you mean they own the U.S. financial system? Are you kidding me?
Literally.
Who did the sanctions target? Let me see if I can scan this to actually answer that question for us.
Can people please put in the comments, did you guys know we supposedly had sanctions? Because maybe it was over a year ago and I didn't catch that part, or but I haven't heard anything about anyone in particular being sanctioned or imprisoned or anything due to their war crimes, be the IDF.
Yeah, it says, I mean, I want to read it again. These sanctioned individuals were blocked from accessing all U.S. property, assets, as well as the U.S. financial system. What is blocked from accessing all U.S. property? Doesn't make any sense to me.
They're not in the US, so what the fuck does that even mean?
But these are Israeli settlers. So this is settlers in the U.S. or settlers in Palestine?
No, it'd be Palestine because
Okay,
they're
I see.
settlers. So
Well, they have their own
we,
fucking financial system over there, I guess, or something, right? I don't know. I don't know. This seems weird. It seems like some Mandela effect bullshit. I'm gonna have to.
yeah, I was like, is this some kind of fucking butterfly affection?
Like,
Like, what
I
the
think
fuck
we
does
jumped
this even
timelines.
mean?
Yeah, it was we jumped timelines or something. This is weird. This
Yeah,
is weird.
because first I'm like, oh, fuck Trump, he removed the sanctions. And I'm like, sanctions for this? I must be out of the loop, but obviously I didn't know because nothing fucking comes of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who hasn't noticed any IDF getting fucking imprisoned because of the disgusting shit they're doing to Palestinians.
Yeah, they should be arrested, not sanctioned.
You guys, there's over 60 people watching, so smash the like button, smash subscribe, and also comment. We love seeing your comments. Oh, we just got a few. Hello, people. What's that say?
This is from Sushi Gang. Sushi Gang. He says, "I'm Antoine Dixon, your mandolin."
Hey.
Hello.
Why do you keep getting more accounts? Are you getting banned or something?
That is funny. All
What
right.
other executive orders do we have?
Let's see. You shared this with me. I don't know if this is one of them.
Oh no. Okay. This is Gaza updates.
Okay.
Israel wouldn't allow the three.
All right. I'm gonna play it again.
Ask yourself why Israel wouldn't allow the three released Israeli hostages to be interviewed last night. It's because they have to be manipulated, threatened, or paid off first. See, Israel holds thousands of Palestinians hostage, including hundreds of children. These hostages are starved, raped, beaten, and tortured. They are released with broken bones. Some are unrecognizable, half their body weight, aged, showing signs of obvious physical and psychological torture. Some don't even remember their own name. The three released Israeli hostages last night were smiling, carrying goodie bags and souvenirs. Medical examinations carried out by Israel confirm that there is no sign of mistreatment or anything negative to report.
Awesome.
It's so bananas because Israel, and I shared a video like this last night. Israel made it so that Palestinians cannot even celebrate when some of the 9,400 fucking hostages that have been in there, many for years, they're not allowed to show any joy or emotion when they come home, or they
That's,
will be detained.
that's fucked up.
So your family is finally being freed after years of being as people are saying, raped, because that's the only way you can say it, beaten, starved, everything else. And you can't celebrate that because if you do, you're going to have it done to you.
Mm-hmm.
How are people okay with this? This is what endlessly blows my fucking mind. Because it's not like we don't know this shit's fucking happening. This shit's in front of our fucking face 24/7.
Some people don't give a fuck. They close off, and it's out of sight, out of mind.
I mean,
It's gross.
cognitive dissonance, I don't even, I understand why people have it with some things, even though I believe it's a cancer and fuck that. But
Yeah.
with this, 15 months of literal genocide, at this point, I don't believe cognitive dissonance exists with this. I think people just don't fucking care.
Yep. It's ignorance on purpose.
It's not me. Oh well. You know,
Right. Right.
you know, I'm not gonna say who it is, okay? But I have this friend, and they were telling me that they were actually, no, I don't want to give it away too much, but they were talking to someone important, not a politician, but someone important. And they were saying, how down they've been about, watching this Palestine footage and everything and how depressing it is. And this person said, we should just be grateful that you're an American and you're not one of them.
Huh.
What? Like, this is America. This is the West. That is the reaction. Just be thankful it's not you. No, I'm sorry. I'm not really thankful I'm an American because this is fucking happening because of us.
Right. Blood is on our hands unless we stop
Absolutely.
it. 100%.
This is on all of our hands. No matter how much we protest, how much we do, it is still on our hands because it is our country.
Hell yeah. All right. Nelson Mandela has something to say.
We do not mean that Israel has the right to retain the territories they conquered from the Arab world, like the Gaza Strip, the Golan Heights, and the West Bank. We don't agree with that. Those territories should be returned to the Arab people. Mr. Mandela, we have many Jews, members of the Jewish community in our struggle, and they have occupied very top positions. But that does not mean to say that the enemies of Israel are our enemies.
Yeah.
We refuse to take that position. You can call it being political or a moral question, but for anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation.
What? Okay, so my message to Joe Biden, because I know he watches the show, he loves it. My message to Joe Biden is, you got arrested with Nelson Mandela. You know this man personally. Why didn't you take after his stance?
Yeah. Interesting.
You've heard that, right?
No.
You didn't hear when Biden claimed that?
No. Maybe I did. It does It does ring a bell, but
Like Biden literally said
he said he was in prison.
he like walked to the top of a mountain with Nelson Mandela and got arrested with him. I'm serious.
I'm so glad that he's gone.
Oh my god. Like go to bed, Joe. Jesus.
Yeah,
But yeah,
time for that long nap, that deep sleep, Joe. It's time.
you know, and you watch everyone like, oh, MLK Jr. Day, and it's like, all right, let's just be clear. You don't stand for a fucking single thing he did. So
No,
just shut the fuck up.
No, that man is spinning in his grave. I'm sure.
Oh my god. I can't even fathom. Well, I know the account at Be a King, which is Bernice, his daughter. She she typically puts this out like every year. She's like, she'll put a tweet out that says, you know, politicians, please stop using my father to say certain things, like be about it. You know, don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I cannot fathom what that must feel like for her to have them make him out to be like a revolutionary and be like, we all have to do this. And meanwhile, you're like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? My dad would hate you.
Yep. Yep.
Crazy.
All right. We got this next. Quote, you live on stolen land, you drink stolen water, you eat stolen food.
You live on stolen land, you drink stolen water. I find you fascinating, Mr. Diane. I really do. I can't understand how you have such self-assurance. A man who was born in Argentina, whose family comes from the Ukraine, and is actually wanting people, sensible people, to believe that he has some connection with my country. You, despite your eloquence, represent nothing other, you and your fellow settlers, nothing other than common thieves. You live on stolen land, you drink stolen water, you eat stolen fruit, you farm stolen farms. You live.
Look at him nodding. He's like,
He
I don't know if
he's
he's nodding
smart.
or rocking.
I don't know. He's smirking though. He has that Dick Cheney smirk.
But he didn't interrupt, which is what
No.
surprised me. I was like, oh, he's gonna interrupt and curse her the fuck out. But he
Because he
didn't.
knows he's immune because he can just call her an anti-Semite or something and people will go along with it. I don't know.
Yep, absolutely. I'm like really impressed by these people who can speak so eloquently when they're mad. I'm like, you know
No,
what?
right.
Fuck you. And then this woman's like, you know, I'm like, wow, like that's a skill.
You had to practice
No,
that.
no,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no practice that I don't have that. I don't. There's nothing in me that can do that.
Yep. Good for her, though. She's Dr. Ghada Karmi, Palestinian academic and author. And then this guy is Danny Dayan. And it says he's just an Israeli settler, is his subtitle. I love that. That's all he gets. He's a settler. He's a common thief.
Yep.
Cool.
What is the next video we have up here?
The argument is the easiest to win in the history of conflicts.
Okay, it feels important to say this. I am not pulling my perspective on Israel-Palestine out of my ass, okay? I'm not just guessing that Israel is committing a genocide against Palestine. I have studied and researched this. I have bona fides, and I will share them. First of all, I'm a Jewish woman. I was raised by a Zionist family. My grandfather was a Holocaust survivor. My family talks about our spirit of resistance and resilience constantly. Desiring goodness from the nation of Israel is in my blood, and still I can see that the Zionist state is vicious, violent, and evil. If someone who is raised by a Zionist family, by people who believe that Israel has the right to exist and that it is our salvation, if I can overcome my pro Israel bias and learn about this conflict, so can you. And frankly, I should not be calling it a conflict, it's a genocide. So when I was in college around 2012, 2013, a bunch of my friends and loved ones started going on birthright trips. And I knew enough then to ask the question when they got back from their birthright trips, what about Palestine? And when these people I love, admire, and respect started talking about Palestinians and using language like terrorists, I knew I had to learn more. I also knew that I wanted to go on birthright, and I was nervous about being brainwashed by the trip, and I should have been nervous. So before I went on birthright, I decided at my small liberal arts school in Massachusetts to get a well-rounded perspective, educational perspective on Israeli-Palestinian politics. I took 4 courses: Suffering and Evil in the Jewish Tradition, the Jewish Experience, Middle East Politics, and Arab-Israeli Conflict. I also took international and comparative politics courses that often brought up Israel and Palestine in comparisons to, for example, apartheid South Africa. And by the time I finished my ample coursework on the subject before I went on birthright, I was already pro-Palestine. Because once you are in the literature, once you are in the research, not the media stories about this, not the pro-Zionist rigmarole on CNN and MSNBC, once you are in the literature and the data, this isn't a debate. This isn't a question. People talk about Israel-Palestine like it is incredibly complicated, and I reject that premise. It is not. We know that
Yep.
anti-Semitism exists globally, right? We know that Jews are not the most beloved population in the world. We know that Britain has a colonial history and they have taken on colonial projects even through the 20th and 21st centuries. Essentially, they wanted to colonize Palestine. So did the United States. And at the end of World War II, Britain and the US got to talking and they thought, who do we want to exploit for military labor someplace that is surrounded by brown people so that we can rape and pillage land that we don't currently have access to? Where's one part of the globe we haven't effectively colonized yet? And there was Palestine. And Britain had been trying to colonize Palestine already. And so this was passed off to Jews who had just survived the Holocaust as a gift. Here we're granting you this parcel of land. You and your progeny can exist in peace and not be violated anymore. Congratulations. Except that land already belonged to someone. Palestinians were already living there.
Yeah.
And the US and Britain didn't give a shit about the well-being of Jews. They didn't care. This wasn't a gift for Jews. This was always intended to be a trap of, you do our military labor for us. We'll put you here and we'll grant you this parcel of land that already belongs to someone that there are already people on. And in return, you will rape and pillage that land for us and we'll just all share in the wealth. And it might be a good idea too, if like your entire population were to, have conscripted military service so you can really defend that land that is yours, totally yours, bucko. And if you see who has emerged as the political leadership of Israel over the last few generations, this won't surprise you. This insidiousness will not surprise you. This is how you get Benjamin Netanyahu, someone who absolutely agrees to the premise of Israel as a Zionist ethno-nationalist state, who says, we are here for one thing and one thing only, is to garner as much wealth from this earth that we have, as much tourist property from this plot of land, convert it to dollars, and build up a military so mighty, a military apparatus so great that we wind up producing the world's weaponry. Yes, we have mined this land, and we have used the land to give you war machinery so that we can all murder each other 1,000 times over. And to the people already living here, well, we'll murder them too. I took basically a semester and a half of college courses on this, and I know in my bones that what Israel is doing right now is a genocide. It's evil. What they've been doing for the last 75 years is a genocide. It is drip violence, slow violence, protracted harm. It is meant to exhaust the civilian population of Palestine. It is meant to exhaust all Palestinians out of their will to fight. And all the benefit the wealth garnered from that land goes to the primary stakeholders, not the Palestinian people to whom the land originally belonged.
Yeah.
Bam.
I like that.
Yeah. That's why I'm always like so quick to share videos from our Jewish brothers and sisters, because we're called anti-Semitic, but the fact is there are so many Jewish supporters of Palestine. And this isn't a rare perspective. You know, we've all seen dozens of videos where Jewish people who have done birthright are saying, holy shit, I didn't know any of this. And they're having a rude awakening. Like, my parents are Zionists, my siblings are Zionists, my friends are Zionists.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good for her for speaking out.
And she said she was nervous about being brainwashed by the trip. I found that kind of funny. Like, even they know, like, it's bullshit, and
Yep.
we all just pretend to go along with it to make money, basically, and to take stuff.
It's funny because, like, I don't know that they still do this anymore, but when I was growing up, and you know, the 80s and 90s, they had these like timeshare travel things where you would sign up and they'd be like, okay, you get 2 weeks in Jamaica. The only thing you have to do is once every 3 days, you have to sit there for 4 hours and take our little travel brochure, like, seminar thing. And you're like, oh, cool. Yeah, we could do that. And then have all that time there. It's free to fly, everything like that.
Yeah.
But then what they would do is kind of hold you hostage the entire time. And then, like, if you didn't go to the meetings or whatever, you would then owe them money for the flight, things like that. So, and that was rampant. That it wasn't just one company or anything. That happened all the time. And like, that's what I started thinking about Israel birthright. Like, I'm sorry, you are not sending people there for free. Hotels, food, flight.
Is that how it works?
Oh yeah, it's fucking free.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Look, nothing's free.
Right, you are the product. If it's free, like
Your payment at the very least is indoctrination. Like,
yeah, even indulging the thought of going on a trip like that, they've already gained some control over you, I think.
it's very cultish.
We have comment from Just Dave on X. The problem becomes that you eventually run out of other people's children. Referring to Israel, I suppose.
Other people's children. That's interesting. I've said that about Palestine, but that's interesting. Yeah. Because, I mean, yeah, that's something to think about. That's an interesting point.
Yep.
This
All right,
video.
Go ahead.
This video, I have never seen this perspective, at least not this eloquently spoken. I don't know if people are going to agree with this perspective. I find it very interesting. And the fact that he's Palestinian, I feel like it's always important to hear where they're coming from more than anyone else.
Yeah. Okay.
So the temporary ceasefire at Gaza is supposedly initiating tomorrow. And I want to share my final message, my final reminder for everyone who has been following along for what will be the past 470 days. Alhamdulillah, the people of Gaza will finally be able to just take a breath and be. Remember that this is from Allah. nobody else. Now, in terms of giving it a title and naming what has been happening in Gaza, and people are going to start discussing it as an event that occurred in the past, it's very important to remember, and this is my final message, to remember that it was not 470 days of genocide. This is what everyone is referring to it right now, but it was not 470 days of genocide. It was 470 days of Palestinians resisting their colonizer. And our colonizer reacted with a genocide. So if someone were to ask you what happened over the past year and a half in Gaza, the answer should be Palestinians resisted and the oppressor responded with genocide. Genocide was a consequence of Palestinians resisting, not the actual event itself. This is a very, very important concept for you to digest and drill into your head, because the core, the foundation of the Palestinian cause is Palestinian resistance, which includes armed resistance. The Palestinian cause and the Palestinian people, we would not exist to this day if it were not for Palestinians resisting. This is something that the West does not like to discuss, including, unfortunately, Muslims in the West. West only likes to discuss Palestinians and the Palestinian cause when we are the victims, never when we are the heroes. Because maintaining this public image of Palestinians only as victims prevents society and prevents the world from remembering what the actual issue is and what the solution to the issue is. The issue being the colonization of our land, and the solution being resisting colonization, not peace and love like the West likes to say. When they choose to write stories only when Palestinians are victims, it makes people think that the solution is humanitarian aid. It automatically makes people think that the solution is donating charity and that's going to solve the problem. We saw this over the past 470 days. Even in the period right after October 7th, everyone in the West jumped and started discussing donating even when charity wasn't able to get into Gaza. And this is the poison of the West, conditioning the world to think that the solution to problems are charity, peace, and love, not justice and fighting for freedom. Now, that would not be the case if Palestinians were viewed as heroes instead of victims. The reaction to October 7th would not have been to raise money, but to support the Palestinians who are resisting, vocalizing support for the fact that Palestinians were picking up arms and fighting their oppressor, fighting the villain. Instead, the Palestinians were made out to be the villains because they were disrupting the status quo and disrupting peace. And then when the actual villain responded with genocide, the world was surprised. The problem is Zionist colonization of Palestinian land, not a lack of humanitarian aid. Money is not going to solve the problem. Resistance will. Now, this is in no way to belittle and take away from all the destruction and the murders and all the martyrs that were taken, but to shift your perspective of what just happened over the past 470 days. Palestinians resisted, and as a result, the colonizer murdered Palestinians. And this is very important to remember, especially right now, because now that there's a supposed ceasefire coming into play, the focus now all throughout media is going to be this idea of rebuilding Gaza. A whole lot of talk and interviews, discussions, articles, videos, all kinds of content regarding the need for humanitarian aid in order to rebuild Gaza, which makes absolute sense. It is a necessity. People need food, people need shelter, but do not forget that the need for humanitarian aid is a result of Palestinians fighting for their rights. Not because Palestinians are victims, not because we are incompetent, we can't do these things for ourselves, but because Palestinians have been stripped of their rights by their colonizer, and Palestinians refuse to accept the status quo that the world refuses to fight, and that is the colonization of our land. With that being said, as always, may Allah accept our martyrs. May He continue to give the people of Gaza strength and resilience to stand and fight for their rights. May He grant the people of Palestine freedom and the right to return to our homes. May He grant the Ummah victory of the Holy Land from the oppressors. And most importantly, may Allah return Al-Aqsa to the Ummah in our lifetime. Ya Rab, alf, alf, alf mabruk, ya Ahl Gaza.
It's just like he's so right though. Like he's so right. That is what October 7th was about. I'm pretty sure everyone on my channel knows that. I mean, this shit didn't start October 7th. Like, I think hopefully we can all agree with that by now. And he's right. That is a very American thing to do. We very much were like, how can we get food there? How can we get clothes there?
It's
How
like
can
it's
we
the
get
same feeling
donations
as
there?
the starving kids in Africa.
It's the
You know,
same feeling. It's
we just
that,
donate $20 and then I feel better about it.
yeah. And it's very much like, and it's also this white saviorism. It's like, I want to, yeah, I know they're going through shit, but hear me out. I'm gonna give like $10, okay? It's not gonna get to them, but I'm gonna give them $10.
Right.
What's that say?
Oh, it has a fist and then the Palestine flag from A Beautiful Day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a really interesting point, and he's right. This is about resistance. It's not about being victims.
Right. Yeah. Don't do less crying when they're being attacked, and then do more, uplifting when they're resisting. I don't know how else to say that, and I don't know when they're resisting. Like, if we aren't fed that information, we have to go digging for it, I suppose, on Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say some stuff that's gonna get my channel taken down.
Well, I think having the word Palestine in the title of the video is already pushing it a little bit.
True. But I mean, October 7th would not have happened were it not for the 75 years prior. It's that simple.
Yeah.
That is what he means by resistance. That you could look up every day. I look at my memories and it brings up like screenshots, articles, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've been sharing shit about Palestine for like 12 years. And it wasn't that much in my mind until like 3-4 years ago. I'm going to be quite honest. Like, I didn't have all this knowledge of, how, I didn't know what Zionism was. I didn't know this shit.
Yeah, me neither. Let me tell a quick story. When I moved into our previous house, it was like 4 years ago, our neighbors introduced themselves across the fence, and they told me their daughter's name was Zion, and they were Zionists, and I didn't really know how to respond to that at the time.
Oh, they said they're Zionists?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they kind of winked, and it was weird. It was weird.
Were you like, cool, what the fuck is that?
It was yeah, I did not know how to respond, and I today, if that happened, I'd probably punch him in the face. But
wow, that's
my
new
neighbors are better.
I went to college with a girl named Zion. I never thought about that. That makes me wonder.
Yeah, they mentioned something like we're going to return to Zion or something like that, and I don't know. It was a very odd interaction, very odd first interaction I had with that guy.
Yeah,
really set the tone for the rest of it.
Yeah.
All right, we have here to all the people in denial about Palestine. Ooh, is this a map? I love seeing the map. It helps.
But tell me, you guys, is this guy like New York and British or what? Like, I can't make out his accent. Sorry to distract, but I've watched it like twice and I can't figure out like where he's from. Speaking of that, but anyway.
All right.
Israel doesn't exist and it's on stolen land. This map is from 1905. Look at that. Palestine, not Israel, Palestine. A 1922 world map. What does it say? Palestine. 1928, Palestine. 1932, National Geographic World Map, Palestine. 1935, National Geographic World Map, Palestine. 1938, Palestine. 1939, World War II map, Palestine. 1939, Palestine. 1940, Palestine. 1941, Palestine. Not Israel. 1942, Palestine. 1943, Palestine. 1944, World War II map, Palestine. 1945, Palestine. 1946, what do you see? Israel? No, Palestine. 1947, Palestine. 1948, Palestine, not Israel. The Palestinians welcomed in the Jews to save them from the Holocaust. And what did they give them in return? A genocide. Israel.
Wow. That is
Thank
100%
you,
what happened.
National Geographic.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said that's 100% what happened.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
welcomed the Jews in after the Holocaust, and then
You know, that's what's
Wow.
crazy, because you see a lot of Zionists be like, this is a map. Israel's on it. And I'm like, yeah, you're using a fucking current map. But this is great. He's showing maps from the actual time.
we need that these days, because
Yeah.
information is just getting wiped out of existence with this internet bullshit. You know what? I'm
Yeah,
fucking sick of
seriously.
the internet now. I think I'm done. I think I'm done with it.
Well, don't stop doing a show with me.
That's it. I'm done. I'm leaving.
Oh,
I'm quitting right now.
You're done except for my show.
Because people are gonna people get curious, and what do? They Google it. And what does Google do? It feeds you Wikipedia. It feeds you mainstream media bullshit, and it's happening to my dad right now, and I don't know what to do.
Oh,
And he
man.
doesn't want to watch the clips of the IDF shooting the kids in the head or anything like that. He looks away. He says, "No, I don't want to watch that."
Oh, that sucks.
I should show him this one.
Dr. Victoria Rose said that of the children that were killed by snipers, the majority were between 5 years old and 15. And this was because parents would pick up the under 5-year-olds and just run, but the bigger kids, would have to figure things out in all the fear and madness of it all. And obviously they were confused. They were a little bit slower than others, and they were being shot from behind in the head and abdomen and back by Israeli quadrocopters, drones. And those drones were controlled by a human being that could see that it was a confused, terrified child.
Wow.
And they would murder this child from behind. And I remember watching this and thinking, I thought I had seen it all, but this is eyewitness testimony of, I don't care what race or religion you are, the closest thing to the celestial are our children. They are made in the vision of something far better than we become in adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
And to murder them in cold blood from behind, from the safety of whatever room you're in,
That's so fucked up.
is the crime like no other.
Fucked up.
I'm not sure who that gentleman is, but I love him. He's, oh God, every time I watch that, I just get goosebumps. He's so right, though.
And to do the murdering with a drone is the most pussy bullshit.
I was
I've
gonna
ever
say,
seen
like,
in
they're
my
a
life.
straight up P word, like straight up.
Yeah.
Like they're treating it like a video game.
Which is probably why they have so many people in the IDF, is they treat it like a game. They probably gamify the whole thing, and like if you kill more Palestinians, you get more stars on your uniform, or you get more money or something. I bet there's something like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, even like amongst each other, they'll like one guy, I saw a picture the other day, he was making tally marks.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. They gamified it. It's gross. All right, here we have a clip.
Everybody smash the like button and subscribe.
Yes, please.
People here are called anti-Semitic when there is dissent expressed in the United States against policies of the Israeli government. People here are called anti-Semitic. What is your response to that as an Israeli Jew?
Well, it's a trick. We always use it. When from Europe somebody is criticizing Israel, then we bring up the Holocaust. When in this country people are criticizing Israel, then they are anti-Semitic. And the organization is strong and has a lot of money and media and other things. And it's very easy to blame people who criticize certain acts of the Israeli government as anti-Semitics and to bring up the Holocaust and the suffering of the Jewish people, and that justify everything we do to the Palestinians,
It's a trick.
Again, these psychopaths are coming out and just saying it. They're just outright saying it. Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Not a damn thing.
Well, it's a trick. We always use it.
Oh my God. Just think of like I mean, I'm not Jewish, so I can't fully understand, but like when I've been to like protests and listen to Jewish speakers, and when I've had people on my show, like Jewish Voice for Peace activists and stuff, you know, when they explain how it feels for them to see Jewish brothers and sisters use the pain of the Holocaust to try to justify
People who weren't there, people who were too young to be actually scarred by it, you know? It is
It's
weird.
incredible. It is absolutely incredible. I cannot even fathom how tough that would be. These people who like are totally okay with this and essentially bragging about it, they are lessening the power of the Holocaust. Like now it has become something that people have become so much more desensitized to because it's being used as a threat.
Yep.
It's being used as this, you know, almost like a pejorative, like you're denying the Holocaust, and used as like an accusation. Whereas before we would think of the Holocaust and just think, oh my God, that is one of the worst things in history to ever happen. And it was. But now when we think about it subconsciously differently. And it's because of the way it's been used the past 15 months.
Yeah, they're laying it on real thick, and it's hard not to notice that.
It is.
All right, we have one here. JFK, he tried to get AIPAC to register as a foreign agent, only to then be replaced by LBJ, who was extremely Zionist. So we have a clip about that.
Yeah, look, I'm going to play Candace Owens, and you know what? I don't care because, like, I'm sorry. When it comes to Israel and Palestine, she's been fucking on point. At least the ones I've seen. So,
okay.
And I mean, she came out hard as fuck against Israel. So my thinking is, if you're against Zionists, okay.
Cool.
There once was a president named JFK, well-liked. In 1963, he had a little bit of a brush up with what was then known as the American Zionist Council. In June of that year, 1963, the American Council for Judaism issued a newsletter saying that they were being asked by the Justice Department to register as a foreign agent of the state of Israel. And they had Senate hearings, 2 Senate hearings that year to look into Israeli foreign agents. And JFK was demanding, his DOJ was demanding for the AZC registration. They were like, you are a foreign agent of Israel. And the department wrote to them in October 11th of 1963, the DOJ wrote a demand to the AZC, the American Zionist Congress, to respond within 72 hours regarding them registering as a foreign agent. And guess what happened? And I guess that ended up working in their favor, because then LBJ became president. And LBJ was very pro-Zionist organization. And his aunt, and this is, by the way, looking at a Jerusalem Post headline here, because I know I get in trouble for knowing these things. A friend indeed. New evidence reveals the incredible aid Lyndon Johnson lent to the Jews. And from a direct quote from that article is, research into Johnson's personal history indicates that he inherited his concern for the Jewish people from his family. His aunt Jessie Johnson Hatcher, a major influence in LBJ, was a member of the Zionist Organization of America. Aunt Jessie had nurtured LBJ's commitment to befriending Jews for 50 years. As a young boy, Lyndon watched his politically active grandfather, Big Sam, and his father, Little Sam, seek clemency for Leo Frank, the Jewish victim of blood libel in Atlanta. Fast forward today, AIPAC has just surpassed $100 million of spending on the 2024 election.
Incredible. And I've heard this before, but I haven't heard the details or anything. But I mean, it makes sense.
It's a conspiracy. So maybe I did know this, but it was called the American Zionist Congress back then.
Yes.
That is crazy. They just,
Yep.
they're out in front with it, aren't they? They're just, they don't,
Yep.
that's crazy.
And a lot of Christian Zionists call themselves Christian Zionists. Like, we use it as pejorative. We're like, whatever, you fucking Zionist. Them, they're like,
They have a different
like
version,
Biden.
different definition of Zionist and Zion based on their holy book. If you read their holy book front to back 100 times, you're gonna think that being a Zionist is a good thing. You're a good guy. Unfortunately.
I don't necessarily think supremacy of any kind is particularly a good thing, but that's just me.
Maybe human supremacy once the AI and the robots get here.
How do we decipher who's human, though?
Well, here's the thing. You have to go up to this device that looks like an eyeball, and you scan your eye with it, and then it uniquely identifies you as a human in some
But what
database.
if, like, it's someone like Hillary Clinton? Like, we all know she's a fucking lizard. She's
It wouldn't
not
work.
human.
It wouldn't work on her.
Good. People would finally find out. Yeah.
Zionist Pierce Morgan is mentally ill, apparently.
You have a terror group on your doorstep.
I think the language you use is loaded, Piers. You say on your doorstep. Do you know they did a poll of Americans a while back who thought that Palestinians were occupying Israel? When we talk about this stuff, we make it sound like Israel is the one being occupied, besieged. Israel's the one that's occupying the West Bank, Gaza, longest military occupation in the world.
But you always make it sound like they're just doing this for the sake of it. They're not.
What are they doing it for?
Well, they've been provoked by Hezbollah.
Hezbollah didn't exist in 1978, Piers.
Okay, I'm talking about the specifics of going on now. Hezbollah's first response to October the 7th was to unleash rockets on Israel.
That's not true.
On October the 8th.
That's
It
not
is.
true. That's not true.
That is what happened.
Where did they fire the first rocket?
They fired rockets on the 8th.
Where?
Well, you tell me.
No, you just said they fired at Israel. Where?
Well, they fired in the direction of Israel.
Where did they hit? They fired at the
you know
Sheba
the
Farms.
answer, tell me.
I do. They fired at the Sheba Farms, which, as I said earlier, is an area of Syria. Well, the Lebanese claim it's Lebanon. Syria claims it's Lebanon. Israel says no and is occupying the Sheba Farms. They fired at Israeli military installations in the Sheba Farms.
Firing at an area that Israel says is theirs.
No, Israel doesn't say that. Israel says it's Syria's. Because remember, Piers, Israel is occupying Syria and the West Bank and Gaza and Lebanon, would argue, parts of Lebanon. This is the problem, right? The core of the problem is Israel's territorial expansionism.
It's a mess.
Attacks, not a mess. It's Israel occupying multiple Arab lands, which leads to quote-unquote resistance or quote-unquote terrorism, whichever word. I don't care what word you want to use right now. But that is the core, right? You had John...
Yep. I love how he's like, no, it was Israel. And then he's like, no, it wasn't. Where was it? And he's like, you tell me. You motherfucker, you don't even know.
He doesn't know shit. He just reads from the screen.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He does what he's told. Reads from the screen. I think we might be at the end of this show. I have a funny.
Yeah.
I think it's
this
funny.
is this thread. I came upon it accidentally, and it was a thread of like community standard notes that were just really funny. So I just picked a random one.
All right, these are the lungs of a 10-year-old child that grew up in a home with a gas oven. They're not supposed to look like that. And the note says, this is a picture of a walnut. Yes, I like this one. I laughed at that.
Like, community notes are fucking funny. Some of them are really fucking funny.
All right, here's one. You
Yeah,
buying this?
I knew you were gonna go to that.
So the note. This user has digitally manipulated the second image to enlarge the women's breasts for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason.
For some reason.
Oh my God. Yeah. But that one's funny because, like, what does the picture even say? Like, what does the original post say?
You buying this as the same person?
Oh, right. Okay.
I don't know.
I can't. Oh my God.
It's hard to tell without seeing her breasts in the left picture. I don't know. I need to see more.
I can't.
Here's one. Taylor Swift can now buy Kanye West and still have 700 million left for herself. Wow. Community note says, no, Taylor Swift cannot buy Kanye West as this was abolished in 1865 in the United States.
Oh my
Maybe.
God. Holy shit. Oh man, that's the best one. Holy shit. Oh my God. That is funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, let's see.
We have almost 90 people watching, mostly on Twitter.
Yes. So smash like, smash subscribe. Even if you're on Twitter, come over, smash like and subscribe.
Please.
It doesn't help my channel unless you come over and do that. So please do. Thank you all so much for watching. Matt, thanks for joining me as always.
My pleasure.
Monday, we will do our regular show. Yeah, and then Tuesday I'll be on Due Dissonance at 2 and Katie Halper at 7.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's gonna be a fun freaking week. Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
That's a nice. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Much
Yes.
love, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.